We begin with the chapter 3 of Geography, Mineral and Power Resources. Lots of data has been given in this particular chapter, but I will be sending you the data which is very important in a tabular form. You will have to note that down in your geography notebooks, or you can take a print of it and stick it in your notebook. For you to remember it easily, I will be sending in a tabular form. The data is the next issue. Let's start with the explanation of the chapter. Now, while traveling in a train or by a bus or by roadways or railways or by aeroplane, you see that as you keep traveling, the geographical features keep changing. Most keenly to be observed is the color of the soil. As you move from one state to the another, you see the entire topography's color changing. Sometimes you may see red color soil, sometimes you may see a very dark grey color soil, brownish color texture soil. So why? What is the reason of geographically, what is the reason of the soil changing its color? Well, the answer lies in something what we find in that area. Those are the rocks. Those are the rocks. Now what I am going to talk about is a natural process where human beings have nothing to do with it. You and I cannot make a rock. It happens as an evolution process, gradually, slowly. The Mother Nature itself makes a rock. Now what's a rock? Rock is actually a very tough, or I would say close compound of different minerals. Now what are minerals? When I talk about minerals, these minerals are composed of a particular chemical compound. That means variety of molecules join together, bind together to form a chemical substance. Now that chemical substance in the form of minerals is found in the rocks, depending upon the area's temperature, what kind of weather conditions you find over there, availability, like agents of gradation, how they are acting over there. All these factors lead to the formation of minerals, and then the minerals combine together to form a rock. If we extract from a rock kind of mineral, if we extract for our personal use, okay, those rocks are called ores. Those rocks are called ores. Ores are actually the material what we extract from the rock to get the mineral what we want for our use. Now, what are minerals? There we can say substances like I'm naming now: tin, iron, and you've got manganese, you've got coal, you have different varieties, copper. Fine. So these things are available in the form of minerals. From the minerals, those minerals are in the rock, and if we use the rock to extract the minerals, then those are called ores. It's a totally natural process, nothing to do with the humankind. Now, we can find the rocks, different variety of rocks all over the world, and different minerals in those particular areas of the world. We can extract them. But certain minerals cannot be extracted because they are in the ocean bed of Arctic Ocean and Antarctica. Now you can't dig into the ocean bed and extract. It would be a very tedious job as well as very expensive to extract the mineral from there. Very difficult to extract. Certain minerals are available handy, which mining goes on. The word mining I will use to extract the ores from the ground, from the soil. We dig and then that process is called mining. Now, how do we differentiate between the minerals or the rocks? So how do we differentiate? What are the bases on which we can say this rock will give this mineral and this rock will give this mineral? Firstly, the major aspect to be taken into consideration is the color of the rock. The color of the rock will decide which, you can say by seeing it, which mineral can be extracted from the ore. Next comes the density. How thick is the ore? How dense is it? How closely combined, compact form is it in? That will also decide which mineral can be extracted from it. What is the hardness of the mineral? What is the hardness of the ore? That also decides what can be extracted from it. Now you will be amazed to hear the costliest mineral what we have extracted is diamond. Diamond is the toughest material found in the entire world. It is the toughest. It is used as a cutting agent. Diamonds are the toughest. So, like, what is the meaning of the hardness? How strong is it? Is it easily breakable? Or it is very tough to break it down? So, that also decides what kind of ores are there in the rocks. Then you have chemical properties. Now this only the engineers can understand over here. What are the chemical properties of the rock which decides what ore does it have? Okay, chemical properties are the texture of it, the malleability of it. Too many things are there under that category. So chemical properties also decide what kind of minerals are found in that iron ore. On the basis of the composition and the characteristic features, we can broadly classify or divide the types of minerals under two categories. What are they? Metallic and non-metallic. As the name suggests, metallic minerals are those which have metals in them. Okay? Now what is the characteristic of a metal? The characteristic of a metal is that it can conduct heat and electricity. That means it will allow heat and electricity to pass through it. Next, it will have luster. It will have shine in it. Now, the examples of the metallic, the things which contain metals are iron ore and bauxite. There are many more given in it, but these you will remember immediately because you've been coming across these names every now and then. So I cited only these two examples. Now, further to divide metallic minerals, I have got ferrous and non-ferrous. Ferrous is the chemical name of iron. Keep that in mind. In chemistry, ferrous is related to iron. So if iron is available in it, then it's called a ferrous metal. So we write the minerals from where the iron ore can be extracted. Iron can be extracted as iron ore, manganese and chromites. Now which do not have iron in it will be called the non-ferrous minerals. And what come under the category? Gold, silver, copper. Okay, this is one side of your metallic minerals, or I would say the words which have got the minerals which have got metals. Let's go to the next part of the flowchart. You can copy this flowchart for a better understanding. Non-metallic, that means no metals will be available in the minerals in the rock where they are available. No minerals, no metals. Now what is the example? The example is limestone and mica. And even coal, petroleum come under this category. So when we extract petroleum products, they don't have metals in it. They have composition. We use them as fuels. They do not have metals in them. That's why they come under the category of non-metallic minerals. So if a part of the flowchart has been given in your book, you just add on what I have added over here, so that you did not read the entire paragraph over there. Easily this will get into your mind. Just add on extra items which I have put up over there. Well, if one has to extract the minerals what is the process of extracting the minerals? Again, a flow chart over here. Flow charts actually enable us to understand in a very simple way. So extraction of minerals can be done in variety of forms based on the fact where are the minerals. Okay, where are the minerals in the soil over there? That on that particular thing depends what kind of extraction method will you choose. So let's take up first mining. I have used this word mining. Now mining is related to rocks. Fine. If the rocks are just below the surface, then I would say shallow, like not on the upper part of it, a little lower, but I don't have to dig too much into the ground. Then only the upper part of it I have to dig a little bit. Then it's called open cast mining. Okay. There are no elevators or the lifts involved over here because the upper part, a little bit of the upper part has to be taken out to take the ores out from it, to take the rocks out from it. Now, what is shaft mining? Shaft is when the minerals are available too deep into the earth, too deep it is. Like if we take the example of coal. Okay, coal is buried too deep inside the earth. So we make something called shafts. Now we cut the rocks. We keep cutting and moving and down and down and down. Now we move this way. We make cut shafts like this, and then we go and extract the mineral. And from there, with the help of elevators and all, that is brought to the surface, and then the ores are taken away to extract the minerals. This is one way. Now what about drilling? Now, like minerals like petroleum and gas, natural gas, they are available again deep in the earth, but they are not in the form of rocks. So what we have to do is we dig holes deep into the earth. We dig holes deep into the holes, not shafts. Holes we dig deep into the earth and then pull. Like we vacuum, we create a vacuum and it pulls it up. So that is the method of drilling. What about quarrying? Quarrying is nothing but on the surface only you will find the rocks with the minerals in it, and you just have to collect whatever is on the surface. You just extract whatever is on the surface. This is how the entire process of extraction of minerals is done.